Daryl, stepson of Grand Verza, one of the 4 Demon Kings, is fired from the Demon Lord's army by his stepbrother, Bash Verza, following Grand Verza's retirement. Citing Daryl's inability to use magic, homeless, Daryl wanders aimlessly, not knowing how long he's been walking for, until he hears a scream alerting him to a young woman. Recognizing her panties were indeed white, soon a mountain gorilla catches up with them and attacks her. Daryl manages to block the attack, pushing it off, but he is still tired from his journey. With the monster landing a hit, he's able to find a human weapon, with him internally saying that the weapon sucks. With perfect timing, Daryl is able to overcome the beast, surprising that it actually worked. The woman bows to him, thanking him, telling him that he fights like a previous hero, and as he tries to leave, the girl gives him an iron grip, dragging him back to her family's home. Meeting her mother and father, the girl introduces herself, named Malika. Malika wonders why he was in the forest, wanting to keep hiding his demon identity. Daryl only reveals that he was recently fired, thinking that this should fool them, allowing them to leave him alone. Malika gets emotional for his sake, and cries, saying that it's not right that a good person got fired, begging that he stay in town. Malika's parents insist that he stay in one of their rooms, and become an adventurer, so they can protect the village from monsters. Daryl tries to protest, but he takes one good look at Malika's chest, and wonders, what exactly was he fighting for all this time? Staring for a while, he agrees to stay, with Malika going by his room, thanking him again. The next morning, he learns that the father is the guild master. Guild seal would expose that he was actually a demon, but yet he somehow still passes. Daryl realizes that despite he was raised by demons, he was actually a human, learning about aura, a human magic tool that boosts weapons and abilities, and despite believing himself to be weak, he discovers that he has an affinity for aura, making him a masterclass warrior. Malika's father, Envil, suggests that Daryl might be better suited for a larger guild in the city, but Daryl decides to stay in the village, making Malika very overjoyed, tackling him again. But the village's only other adventurer, Gashita, is unimpressed until it's discovered that the monster that Daryl killed was one that Gashita failed to do 2 weeks ago. Daryl is promoted for killing the monster and accepts a quiet herb gathering quest, with Malika insisting on joining him, holding his hand, and doing most of the quest for him. Daryl notices that Malika is skilled enough to be an adventurer. She claims that she wanted to be an adventurer so she could help out people, but says that she's too scared to fight, yet is licking her lips as she's hunting down a monster, doing so with no problem. Daryl settles into his village life, with Malika's romantic interest and flirting towards him becoming more obvious. Envil reveals that Gashita recklessly decided to hunt down a Blaze Death Scythe, even though it's too high of a rank for him. With a team from the City Guild having already officially accepted the quest, Daryl volunteers to retrieve Gashita. Malika makes a remark saying that it's too dangerous, insisting on going with him, but Daryl tells her to leave it to him. She understands and gives him some supplies to heal him in case of an emergency, wishing him a safe return. At the site, he finds him already running scared from the death site, with him engaging in combat with the snake. When he goes to attack, his sword is broken by it, so he combines 2 aura skills and throws the sword's fragments into the belly of the beast, killing it. And the next day, Gashita has a complete change in his personality towards him, with him in fact simping for Daryl, calling him big bro, causing Malika to be jealous. Meanwhile, the 4 Demon Kings struggle in their war against the hero, as Daryl was secretly the one who kept everything in their army running smoothly. Without him, everything is falling apart. Yet Bash Verza fiercely rejects his fellow king's request to bring Daryl back. Gashita begins to annoyingly follow Daryl on his quest, trying to learn from him. When he comes back home, Malika hugs him so tight, it causes Daryl to be injured daily. Daryl notices that most of the houses here are vacant, asking for an explanation from Envil, with him telling him that the village used to have a trade route for a nearby mythril mine, but since the demon army captured it, the trading that they had stopped. Daryl was once the one who was overseeing the mine, doing so for the demon army. When he goes to visit the mine, he finds that it's totally mismanaged, as one of Bashbaza's new commanders is mistreating people. The Knockers, a demon subspecies that's suited for mining, all respect Daryl greatly and are tired of being repressed, beginning to revolt. Daryl hides his face and protects the Knockers, doing so under the name as an adventurer, defeating the demon soldiers, non-fatally of course. The commander surrenders to him, revealing that he isn't even a soldier, just a demon that was randomly hired to join the party. At Daryl's insistence, the commander resigns and the soldiers return back home. The grateful Knockers decide to switch allegiances to the human race. At the Adventurers Guild main headquarters, he takes the Knockers under his protection and reopens the mine properly. Malika brings him lunch. Tripping, he manages to catch her. After this, she hugs him to unconsciousness. Bash Verza is called in by the Demon Lord and is then punished for losing the mithril mine and his continued mismanagement of the army. The Demon Lord has already suggested that he try and do something else and not build his bomb, doing so not to hurt his pride, but now that he's gone too far, he forces him to apologize or suffer death. The prideful Bashverza finally decides to apologize, leaving, but before he leaves, the Demon Lord mentions how Darrow would have had all this fixed, forgetting his name though. Meanwhile, Darrow's enjoying Malika's company, but they're talking about how she would love to have children with him, and saying that they would enjoy the festival. Malika's about to propose to Darrow, but is then interrupted by Gashta, with them arguing with an adventurer, being the arrogant leader, Fibiton, who's the adventurer that was supposed to hunt down the Blaze Scythe. Gashta reveals that Darrow's the one that actually killed the snake, infuriating the adventurer. At the guild dinner, Malika's told about what happened earlier, and a dark aura begins to engulf her, as she wishes to go hunt down that adventurer. As he disrespected Darrow, Darrow manages to hold back the knife-wielding woman. As she blurts out, she'll kill anyone that disrespects her husband, instantly becoming embarrassed after knowing what she said, leaving. This causes a misunderstanding with her father, with Invil accepting Darrow as Malika's fiancé, with everyone congratulating him. At the guild headquarters, Darrow is having to negotiate with the Knockers, as they refuse to meet with anybody else, but once Darrow reassures them, they happily negotiate with the guild representative, Bestfred. The demon Rosette is sent by the Demon Lord to convince the Knockers to return. Rizet reveals that the demon army is near collapse due to poor mismanagement, and begs that Darrow come back to them. Darrow refuses, due to being a human all along. Instead, they're able to negotiate that Rizet is able to get some of the mythril from Bestfred, reasoning that buying the mythril is easier than starting a war over it. A furious Fibiton tries to murder Rizet, but is only stopped by Darrow. Bestfred berates Fibiton before agreeing to sell mythril to the demons. Darrow is looking forward to his future peace between the demons and the humans, since both races are very precious to him. Bestfred asks Darrow to reopen the mythril foundry. However, Malika runs to Darrow, saying that an old man touched her chest, which enrages Darrow. They find that the old man in question is a blacksmith, the greatest living mythril blacksmith. Smith is able to use his superb negotiation skills to get the forgery. The adventurers aren't able to build anything due to poor crafting skills, but Smith is able to easily craft a sword, giving the sword to Darrow. Darrow is able to test out the weapon, slicing through it like butter. Smith refuses to work with the Campbell Guild, not liking Fibiton's rudeness. Smith reveals that he intends to forge the greatest mithril weapon of his career, customizing the blade to Darrow's unique aura. Fibiton tries to recruit Darrow to the Campbell Guild to deny Central Guild access to the mind, but Darrow refuses, so Fibiton challenges Darrow to a duel. The Guildmaster explains that this could be a duel to the death, with Darrow at a disadvantage, being a lower rank. Still, Darrow goes through with it. Fibiton reveals that the smith had forged a mithril sword and shield, mocking the dagger that the old man built for him. However, the blacksmith reveals that it's the Hermes blade, which with Darrow's aura can become anything, including a sword or a whip. Fibiton's inferior mithril weapon is destroyed, changing into a whip. Darrow's able to send him flying into a house. Bestfred decides to arrest Fibiton, but Darrow stops him, knowing that Fibiton was only doing what he thought was best for his guild and teammates, insisting that the man be forgiven, and instead repair the houses that he damaged in the duel. Bestfred offers Darrow a job at the Central Guild, with Malika overhearing this. Later, Darrow contemplates the job offer, doing so in the sauna. Malika, also dressed in a towel, joins him in the sauna, shocking Darrow, insisting that they have something important to discuss. Malika has been thinking about this for a while now and tells Darrow that she will still support him if he chooses to go to the Central Guild. Darrow had already decided not to go, but now he's confirmed it, saying that he would miss her stew if he did, causing Malika to cry tears of joy, and they kiss. Bashverza visits his and Darrow's father, Grandverza, who retired after being injured by the hero. Bashverza is too ashamed to admit of his failures, so he claims that Darrow is still working for him. Grandverza attacks him, having already known the truth, but wanted for his son to admit it, so he tells Bashverza to go find Darrow. Bashverza refuses and leaves, to prove that he can succeed without Darrow. Malika's mother sneakily confirms that Darrow and Malika spent the night together, leaving Darrow so tired and weak that he falls down the stairs. And Darrow gave it all he had last night, for sure dropping a triple-double in his sleep, in a losing effort. The two are embarrassed, as the mother congratulates Malika. The mother asks for Darrow to take good care of Malika, with Darrow starting to fret over should he confess or not, with him wanting to get the father's wishes. The father announces that he wishes for Darrow to replace him as the chief and mayor of the town. Darrow doesn't believe that he's ready, but the chief gives him a speech on responsibility and how he wasn't ready when he got it, saying that it's time for new chapters in life. While he's talking, Darrow's looking directly at Malika, confirming that he's not ready. Darrow agrees to the position, but first asks to marry Malika. The girl cries and tackles him harder than she ever has before, but this time, he's able to adjust, signifying that he's ready for responsibility. 1 year later, the town is thriving, Daryl's the chief, and he's married to Malika and has a child named Gran, named after his father. Gran visits the village, the hero visits the village. Daryl has mixed feelings about meeting the hero, as the past hero already tried to kill Granverza, but he finds that the previous hero has retired, and has been replaced by a young woman who is so new to her role that she has notes on how to become a hero, re-quoting heroic speeches, bringing the hero back to his home, where she meets Gran. Gran hugs her chest, and Daryl realizes that he's definitely a son, as Malika is staring at him. The hero and her subordinates, Satomi and Seisha, are entranced by the mythril weapons. The blacksmith apprentice rubs the hero's hands, and now knows what type of weapon to give her. The hero's name is Lady, and announces that she is seeking a third subordinate, and is accepting all challengers. This gets the entire town pumped up for the tryouts, as this is the first time the town has hosted such a prestigious event. The three of them use household appliances and wooden swords as a handicap, leaving only Gashida, who's able to take a shot from distance, but his arrows are blocked, but he does use the remnants from his arrows to do a reverse attack. Gashida comes close to winning the event, but the hero overreacts and almost kills him. Luckily, Daryl's able to stop her, saving his life with using an apple. Seeing this, Lady then attacks Daryl, and the two of them go back and forth. She's excited by his strength, and goes all out, using the former hero's strongest move. Daryl is still able to win, and she begs him to join her party, but he rejects the offer, leaving to go back to his family, causing everyone to be confused. Daryl recalls one of the Demon Kings, Lady Dryos, who valued peace above everything else, and is determined not to help Lady defeat the Demon Lord. Lady begins to stalk Daryl, and slowly realizes that Daryl's values are completely different from hers. She still begs him to join, but Daryl once again refuses. Daryl realizes that the Demon Army only exists for one purpose, to protect the Demon Lord, away from the hero. Lady relents and asks for Daryl to be her mentor. Daryl agrees to this, hoping to steer Lady away from war. Lady Dryos is despondent that Daryl is missing. Meanwhile, Rizit visits Daryl, but is followed by Lady Zebi, one of the 4 Demon Kings, who finally locates Daryl. Zebi punishes Rizit and confronts Daryl, but decides to behave herself after witnessing Malika's strength from a rage boost. Zebi decides to take over responsibility for the Mithril mine, but Daryl refuses to work with her. Deciding to teach him some manners, she goes to attack him, but is then instantly scared off by Malika's stare. Outside, Zebi attacks him and challenges Daryl to a duel, but loses in comedic fashion. But like a spoiled child, she continues to challenge him, and continues to lose. During the duel, Daryl overpowers her. The two quickly save her, but Daryl accidentally snatches Zebi's panties, so she blackmails him into selling her some mithril weapons so that she won't tell Malika. While Zebi visits the forgery to have a weapon forged for her, Daryl is forced to distract the hero so that Lady and Zebi don't meet, only for the two of them to find each other in the sauna. Before a fight can break out, he intervenes, but ends up touching both of their rice cakes. At dinner, Daryl is forced to admit everything about his past, as he was a human that was raised by the demons. Malika already knew this before the wedding, so she prevents a fight from breaking out, saying that Zebi and Lady need to have a duel, going all out. The blacksmith worked all night trying to forge their weapons. Lady has a sword, and Zebi has a wind magical necklace. The two of them are evenly matched, until a side of a cliff is almost dropped on Gran, causing both of them to stop and save him. With the duel now over, the two of them realize just how much fun they have being together, and decide to become friends. Daryl hopes that such friendships will lead to peaceful lives between both the humans and the demons. Later, the village is visited by Alanzir, the retired previous hero. The strongest hero in history, Alanzir, is greeted by Daryl, where Zebi is informed about who exactly he is, and to not to make a mistake by him. Far from the bloodthirsty warrior that Daryl remembers, with now just being a kind old man, Alanzir plans to resume Lady's training, but learns that Daryl's the one training her now, so he asks to have a spar with Daryl. Daryl unhappily agrees, but Zebi accidentally uses her demonic magic, exposing herself. Alanzir tries to kill her. Daryl is forced to save Zebi, informing Alanzir that demons live peacefully here and are welcome in his village. Sensing that Daryl has strength, Alanzir offers Daryl to replace Lady as the hero. Daryl refuses, so Alanzir injures him, demanding to know why Daryl is so peaceful towards demons. Daryl reveals that he was actually raised by demons. Granverza meets the Demon Lord and begs him to fire Bashverza, who has not left his room for over a year now. The Demon Lord is unhappy. Granverza blatantly prefers the human Daryl over Bashverza, but he gives Granverza Daryl's location, having known all along where he's at. Granverza recalls 33 years ago, the former water demon, King Bezaton, was slain by Alanzir, but he left Granverza the perfect opportunity and weapon to one day kill Alanzir. After some time of spending with Daryl, he realizes that he's actually his lost son that was kidnapped by Bezaton as a baby. Before Daryl can even react to this revelation, Granverza arrives. Alanzir cannot forgive Granverza for raising his child and being its father. Granverza never knew that Daryl was actually Alanzir's son, as Bezaton never told him. The two of them almost fight, until Malika interrupts them, splashing some cold water on their face, scolding both of the men for upsetting their grandson, allowing the two of them to be part of their family. Meeting Gran, the two grandfathers make peace. Bash Verza finally reappears, claiming to have a plan now to defeat the hero, only to find that he'll be fired soon, and that all anyone could talk about is Daryl. Bash Verza decides to kill Daryl, but Daryl feels hopeful. As the two of them are starting to get along, that night, Zebby comes to visit Daryl, thanking him for saving her life, with him also saying some embarrassing things about her, surprised that he loved her, saying it in front of everyone. Daryl tries to fix his misunderstanding, but she leaves. Lady asks about resuming her training, but due to the new circumstances, Alanzir comes clean, admitting that the Demon Lord isn't the cause of humanity's suffering. The war was started by humanity, with the leaders trying to seize the Demon Lord's magical abilities, with them able to bestow powers onto anyone. Lady decides to remain the hero to expose the truth. The mine is then attacked by a dragon, so everyone rushes to go help. Daryl realizes that the knockers are trapped and rushes to free them, while Grand Verza and Alanzir distract the dragon. After knocking the dragon from the sky, it flies away. Grand Verza returns home with Zebby, and they confront Bash Verza, revealing that Bash Verza is controlling the dragon, doing so with forbidden hex magic that he stole from the Demon Lord's vault. Grand Verza is enraged by his son, as the hexes affect the mental mind of the caster. Still trying to prove his superiority to Daryl, Bash Verza flies off to kill the hero, Alanzir, and Lady. In the mine, Daryl is confronted by a Gigaton Matcha, the magical earth beast. He's upset that his friend Salamandra, the magical fire beast, is suffering, and seeing that Daryl has a good heart, improves his Hermes blade. Since the mythril was mined from his body, Malika gives Daryl an armored glove and her wedding ring to keep him safe. Bash Verza announces that he will be ending the war by killing all humans, starting with the greatest failure, Daryl. As they duel, Daryl acknowledges that it must have worked very hard to get to this point, and how unfair it was that everyone was comparing him to him, with him actually being proud of his brother. Enraged by being pitied, Bash Verza begins to turn to a dragon. As the hex further joins his Salamandra, the hex begins to affect Daryl, synchronizing their minds and dragging him into Bash Verza's minds. Ever since Grand Verza brought Daryl back to their home, Bash Verza has felt that Daryl's replacing him as Grand Verza's son. Even when it looked like he could work besides his father, Grand Verza retired and assigned Daryl as his aide instead. Daryl draws Bash Verza into his own memories, showing him his own loneliness over never fitting in with the demons, and treasuring Bash Verza as a little brother. Bash Verza realized that his own subordinates cause his own pain and weeps. Bash Verza fuses with the Salamandria's body to fly him far away at the cost of his own life, but Grand Verza and Daryl work together to save him. Returning home victorious, Malika hugs Daryl, saying that he almost died. The Demon Lord exiles Bash Verza for his failures, so he goes to visit Daryl and his family, and meets his nephew Gran, apologizes for his actions, and plans to atone for them. Gran speaks his first words, being big brother Bash Verza. Daryl has a new family portrait commissioned, humans, demons, and the heroes together. Bash Verza leaves and goes to travel the world, but does promise to visit occasionally, and his life back in the village returns back to normal.